Now, Iran has called on UN Secretary General António Guterres to remain neutral amid rising tensions with the US and Israel. In a statement, Tehran described the situation as an unjustified attack by two nuclear-armed countries and urged the UN chief to uphold neutrality, saying you just have to remain neutral. Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian over the phone, reaffirming Russia's stance for an immediate cessation of hostilities. Putin emphasized that force cannot be used to resolve issues with Iran and stressed the need for diplomatic and political solutions. Both leaders agreed to continue communicating to manage the situation. Malika, the latest developments here. Now, what do you think happens from here?
Vishali, it's very interesting how you said that the Iranian regime has reached out to the UN again now. In these troubling times, like we've seen since a couple of years, UN has really become a toothless tiger. I mean, you see, Venezuela happened, UN couldn't do anything about it. You see, Greenland was happening, nothing happened. And again, now we see Iranian regime, not only now, but a couple of weeks ago, they had approached the Iranian foreign minister, had written a letter to the UN Security Council. Just a few days ago, also, they had tried to establish a contact with the UN Security Council. The UN Charter Law, Vishali, that I like quoting again and again, that we need to take in cognizance is the Article 2 of the UN Charter Law clearly states that a sovereign nation cannot be attacked. And if there is any emergency or in self-defense you have to attack, you have to take the permission of the UN Security Council. See, even before Trump, whenever the presidents, we saw United States of America attacking Iraq, we saw them attacking Libya, but at least all these presidents before Trump used to provide lip service, I would rather call it that, lip service to the UN Security Council or the United Nations. At least even though United Nations did not agree to their bombing or did not agree to their attack, they used to at least inform them. But we never saw this happening during Trump tenure all the time, not even in Venezuela, not even in now in Iran as well. And coming back to in fact, interestingly, in Trump's regime, we also saw that he has not even taken the permission of the US Congress. So not only is under his leadership, all the rules are being broken internationally, but also nationally. He is not taking the US Congress in confidence as well before attacking any country. So he's also going against the US Constitution. Well, at the same time, parallelly, Vishali, there's one more thing I would like to highlight is that the US torpedo attacks an unarmed Iranian ship in Sri Lankan waters. So that is also a major war crime, I would rather call it. I mean, it was against the Geneva Convention. So there are a lot of red lines that we are seeing the US crossing, and there's nothing that UN Security Council or the United Nations can do about it, except for the fact that they're just out there in the soapbox, just giving these comments on how it should be solved over diplomacy. But there's nothing that they can really do against Trump's agenda of might is right. So even though Iran was pressing again and again, US still attacked them. And Iran was always saying that we are never going to attack Israel or America first, but if they will attack, we will retaliate. So that is what Iran is still sending the messages to the UN to broker the war, to stop the war. But UN Security Council or UN, like I said, is a toothless tiger, Vishali.
Interesting, Malika, what you're saying, and I'll come back to you. Now, United States is set to deploy a third aircraft carrier to the Middle East as tensions rise. The USS George H.W. Bush has completed pre-deployment training and is expected to join the U.S. Gerald R. Ford in the Eastern Mediterranean, while the USS Abraham Lincoln remains in the Arabian Sea for ongoing strikes against Iran, signaling a continued U.S. military presence in the region. And I'm coming to you, Major General Kumar, with this, but I also want to ask you, Major General Kumar, now we're on the 8th day of the war. Trump says another approximately 5 weeks is when it goes on till. What is your prediction and what do you see coming out of this?
You see, I mentioned earlier that the objectives which the US and Israel have, they are they are not firm on the objectives, they are not serious about the objectives. Perhaps they are thinking that more damage, destruction, annihilation is to be done of the Iranian defense forces. And that is apparent because of we see the presence of these three aircraft carriers, the biggest in the world, that is the USS George H.W. Bush, then Gerald R. Ford, and Abraham Lincoln. Why are so many combat aircrafts required in that region, which are seeing the presence of in near vicinity of three aircraft carriers? That's one thing. Secondly, Donald Trump had taken credit and was quite assertive in highlighting that he had made efforts to broker a ceasefire between India and Pakistan during the Op Sindoor. Now, Op Sindoor we know was of a very, very limited duration, where India had made it clear by the DGMO of India talking to his counterpart in Islamabad and saying that, look, we do not want to escalate the war. Our objectives were only these specific camps, locations from where the terror acts were emanating, and we called off thereafter the operations. Now, in contrast to that, why is it that so far we are on the 8th day and the war doesn't show any sign of abating? Now, that clearly indicates that Donald Trump and Israel also, because we are aware that some time back the International Criminal Court had issued a notice that the head in Israel and as well as Putin were to be tried for war crimes. Now, they have no regard. They disregard the UN Charter, the UN system, the International Criminal Court, and therefore what Malika said about the ship, Iranian ship in Sri Lankan waters that was unarmed, that was attacked by the torpedo and totally destroyed. There have been no reports of any survivors so far. So therefore, at this point of time, the US and Israel, they do not appear to be in any mood that they would be restrained by anybody. I don't think that the UN General Assembly, I'm not aware of that they have taken any concrete measures to call upon the states to come to a table and negotiate, discuss, sort out their problems, and therefore there is no restraining to the two attacking sides to give up in any manner their combat operations of an offensive nature against Iran. And Iran appears to be totally determined to face the consequences. Now, how long would be the sustaining power of Iran in this? What would be the fate of the Gulf states? That time alone would indicate.